What is happening, everyone? Welcome back to G-Ball Vision. Today we're taking a deep dive into the Vero Engineering Axon liner lock. Now, this knife is not going to be unknown to a lot of people, maybe some out there, but I don't have a whole lot of content on the Axon liner lock, and it's one of my favorite knives. It's a very useful sheep's foot blade coming in M390. You have a stonewash finish. Love this nice straight edge. You got somewhat of a pokey tip for a sheep's foot. You have a cutout on both sides of this Vero. The Axon has a cutout on both sides, where some it might be just clip side. Some don't have any at all, but on the Axon series, there is a cutout on both sides. And then you have titanium accents for all the hardware, pocket clip, and backspacer. And then there are a ton of different versions. You can get satin, hand satin, stonewash, DLC. He's got a bunch of different flavors. You can get G10, titanium, carbon fiber. I also have a titanium frame lock version. So he does a lot with the Axon series. He has some minis. He's got a whole bunch of stuff dealing with the Axon platform itself. He's got fixed blades off of it now as well. You're going to be getting just a hair over 3 inches of cutting edge. Going to be coming in like 3 1/8. And then total, you're looking at like 7/16 or so. And then about 8 inches overall. And because this one is a G10 model, you do still have steel liners, and the liners are recessed. Very nice setup when it comes to a liner lock. And we're looking at about 4 ounces on the nose, which is not bad at all. Very lightweight knife in my opinion. And I got this one this way for the sole intention of using it at some point, heavily. And the time is coming for that. The Axon frame lock that I also have an Impulse Mini, and they are the exact same color scheme. They have a titanium handle that is, kind of silvered out, and then they have a DLC blade. So they're kind of like brothers in a sense, and those ones I use more as a gentleman style carry. They don't get a ton of, hard use. They're not going to be getting beat up per se. This one, though, is going to start seeing quite a bit of heavy use. This will be one of the knives that I'm looking at testing here very soon, as far as, getting it in pocket and using it as an everyday user at work and so on. And I'm interested to see how it fares. So we have the bug out and the 20.5. It's going to be a little bit bigger than both of those. We have the Deca version 2, going to be quite a bit bigger than that as well. The RSK is going to be a very comparable size comparison there. And then we have the Para 3. We have the PM2 Warncliffe edition, and that is fairly close as well. So you can get a pretty good idea from a couple of those. It's going to be in a lot of people's wheelhouses. The liner lock Axon, or just the Axon in general, is an extremely popular knife. And that's why he has so many versions. There's the frame lock, the liner lock, the mini, and the fixed blade, and there might even be another one that I'm not thinking of, but he's got several off of it. And the reason it's so popular is because it is a very useful knife. It's comfortable. Vero likes his backspacers, and that's something I really love about Vero. Not only are his designs awesome and unique, but they are extremely comfortable, and they hit on a lot of things that I really look for and appreciate. The full-length backspacer is going to add a ton of comfort in hand. It's just a little added softening. You know, when you have thick scales that are chamfered and softened, typically you can get away with just those. But adding in that back spacer to kind of meet everything together just really adds a lot of comfort. Pocket clip is well done. Titanium, very neutral looking. You have this slight ramp with a flat. It goes in and out of pocket very easily, which we can pull our G-Ball Vision Hank out here and get a little bit better of an idea. Now, when you're dealing with titanium clips typically like this, the way that they are mounted, whether it's hidden screws or it is exposed screws, it don't really matter. You're going to have a little bit sticking out of the pocket there. It's just the nature of the pocket clip. Now, you can get, you know, fold over titanium clips that will be deeper, kind of like MXG, Lynch. You know, they do those fold over titanium clips as well. But typically a milled clip, they're going to be just like this, where you have a little bit poking out. And then the retention on this is very nice. You have a nice, strong pocket clip there. Why don't we go ahead and check the blade stock on this guy? It is not an ultra thin knife. This is going to be geared more towards, so you're looking at 130, I'm guessing. You're looking at more of a user in the Axon. It's going to come down pretty thin, but so you're right around 19 thousandths. So it's going to be more of a user in a little bit heavier of a scenario, opposed to something with an extremely thin blade stock and extremely thin behind the edge. You know, 90 thousandths to under 10 thousandths, say. Those are extremely thin, extremely slicey, but depending on the steel, and in this case M390, you know, it's very corrosion resistant. It is got great edge retention, but the toughness on M390 is not the greatest. So if you run into something that is foreign to what you're cutting, you could run into some issues. But with a little bit thicker of a blade stock and a little bit thicker behind the edge, you're going to have a little bit less problems when it comes to running into maybe some foreign materials. As far as, you know, aesthetics, this thing is beautiful. As far as the material choices, they are great. These are a little bit, the liner lock is cheaper than the titanium frame lock, but they are, you know, not an inexpensive knife. You know, I think the cheapest liner lock you can get is something similar to this, and they're still going to be between like $250 and $300. But you're getting, you know, a solid design from a solid company in Bestech. So, you know, and Bestechs are known to be just a little bit more higher in price when it comes to their OEM work and their own designs for that matter. You're getting multiple ways of deploying this bad boy, and this cutout is fairly unique to Vero. This rectangular cutout that doesn't go all the way through, but it is on both sides. It's a very unique way of deploying the knife. You know, typically you either have a fuller or you have a cutout when it comes to this kind of deployment method. So this is pretty unique, this little window per se here, and it works very good. It's just deep enough that you can get your thumb in there very easily. You can reverse flick very easily. And then this also has a very minimal top flipper that works very good. As minimal as it is, it works. It's not sticking out real high. I don't have anything on the table right now to compare it to, but a lot of front flippers will poke out there quite a bit, and this is a nice minimal front flipper that actually works very well. Very easy no matter how you want to deploy it. If you want to do the old pointer finger rollover. You just want to do the thumb rollover, and then I think the reach around is even the reach around is very easy. Once you get accustomed to the knife, you know, it is pretty easy to actuate in all three ways. And then you can even slow roll this guy out, which there's times I like doing that as well. Just kind of, you know, fiddling with it, slow rolling it out. The action is going to be incredible. There's nothing aftermarket on this knife at all. This is all stock right from the factory, and it is just very well done. You have good access to the liner. You have a nice big chamfer on the liner. Very good little work knife, EDC knife in the Axon. Now, what are we looking at as far as an edge? If I could actually get the paper. It's got a pretty good edge on it. I would say it needs a little touch up, but it's not bad at all. And the other great thing about a knife like this is, with that very low tip, is it's going to be easy with this 50-50 area to get your middle finger in there and get your pointer finger up by the tip here. And that's going to allow you to do some nice precision type cuts, detailed type cuts, giving you a lot of control over that tip. And then because of that 50-50 area, it's going to be very easy to have a lot of control over that blade when you are making maybe a longer cut, or you got to be careful. You know, it's going to be very easily controlled when it comes to carrying this knife, and it will be a great utility knife. It's going to be a nice user, and that is also why I got the stonewash finish opposed to getting a satin finish with, you know, a titanium handle or carbon fiber or whatever the other offerings were. I've thought about micarta for it because that's not a real heavy material either, but I wanted a user finish on this, and then I wanted something that was going to be, you know, quite a bit lighter. And having the titanium one before this, you know, I know how much the knife weighed with the titanium handles. So I wanted something a little lighter, something that's going to be a lot more user-friendly than, say, a satin finish. Stonewash is definitely a go-to finish for me when it comes to having a user, you know, something I'm going to be putting through its paces. It's not going to get as marred up, scratched up, you know, or get fingerprints or anything like that. It's going to be a lot less, you know, a lot more receptive to things like that than, say, a satin finish. But that will conclude the Axon liner lock overview. Let me know down in the comments if you have any experience with Veros, or if you have any experience with the Axon. Are you looking to get one at some point? I'd really like to hear from you about this company, about this knife. I love Joseph Vero and his designs and his work. He does a great job. So let me know what you think of Vero and his line of knives. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel or you've been here before and you are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button down below the video. I would love to have you here. Otherwise, guys, I will catch you on the next one.